My goodness, the backlash on Deja Carrington. She's gone nuclear at this point, and a critical question looms. Did Deja Carrington just cross a line the WNBA can no longer afford to ignore? We're not just talking about tough defense or gritty play anymore. This is a full-blown pattern of dirty moves that now includes one of the wildest fouls the league has seen. From grabbing opponents by their hair to swiping at eyes mid-game, Carrington isn't just on a slippery slope. She's face-first skiing down it. She's done things this season that would get her disqualified from MMA fights. This is a bad look for the league, especially when referees seem to turn a blind eye to something that would lead to immediate disqualification in an octagon. The most recent incident has fans calling for something far more serious than a fine. We're talking suspension. We're talking permanent ban territory. The wildest part? It's actually in the rules. It's just a question of whether the commissioner will enforce it. If you believe Carrington deserves a ban, then comment "Fire the eye poker" down below. Check this out. A recent play where she grabs a player by the ponytail and yanks her to the ground. Let's rewind for a second. Remember when she nearly took down her own teammate, Paige Bueckers, with a reckless hit that had coaches holding their breath? Or how about that cheap shot on Jessica Shepard that was borderline flagrant? Then there's Caitlin Clark, a rising rookie, and already the face of the Indiana Fever, taking a swipe to the eye from none other than Carrington herself. The footage exists, and it's brutal. The intent is hard to deny. It's starting to feel less like basketball and more like WWE auditions. A claw to the eye, a hit to the head, a ball yank. And by the way, those are 3 incidents in her last 5 games. She also undercut Skylar Diggins in those last 5 games, getting Caitlin Clark in the eye, getting Sabrina. Here's where the red flags start waving. Deja Carrington has now racked up 3 official flagrant fouls in just a month. 3. And that's not counting 2 additional uncalled fouls that fans and analysts agree were clearly just as bad. At this point, the math writes the story. This isn't a coincidence, it's a pattern. So the million-dollar question becomes, what is the WNBA going to do about it? Or better yet, will they do anything at all? Not only is the WNBA seemingly covering for players doing these egregious things on the court, things that are not physical play, but dirty play with a big fat D. Some of these players wouldn't know anything about that. It's dirty. And then when you call them out, the player herself starts attacking fans. The league has a rule: too many flagrants and you face an automatic suspension. But we're past too many now. We're into what more do you need territory. Player safety is supposed to be sacred. If the WNBA wants to grow its viewership and keep stars like Caitlin Clark safe, they have to show that there are real consequences for reckless behavior. And yet, so far, Carrington has been skating by with little more than side-eye and silence. There isn't a world where, if she had extensions, that hair pull was not premeditated, pre-planned. She looked up, she said, "Oh, look at that ponytail. Let me yank. How about I keep it real? Let me yank the white girl to the ground." There we go. Let's start with the foul that finally blew the lid off the situation. The infamous hair pull. In the third quarter of a heated matchup between the Dallas Wings and the Los Angeles Sparks, Carrington grabbed Sarah Ashley Barker by the hair and yanked her to the floor like it was tug-of-war recess at elementary school. The arena gasped. The replays were undeniable. The foul was so blatant that even the slow-mo looked aggressive. Deja, you're always in a dirty play. Deja. Once again, here we are today. What did the refs call it? A loose ball foul. Not a flagrant, not even a technical, just a little slap on the wrist like happened. Commentators were flabbergasted. If those were extensions, they'd be on the hardwood right now, one analyst quipped. Social media lit up like Times Square. The Brick Center posted the clip with a caption that summed up the mood of the moment. How is this not an ejection? I think a referee knowingly allowing and turning a blind eye to players putting other players in danger should never be allowed again. This is just like the Kennedy-Carter tip check last year. The referees saw it and did nothing about it. The response from fans was volcanic. Twitter, Reddit, Instagram, every corner of the internet was screaming the same thing. This is dangerous, and it can't be allowed to continue. One radio caller put it best: "This isn't hustle. This is someone treating the court like a back alley." Look, I don't condone fighting on the court, but this team has a real issue. This league has a real issue getting their own teammates' backs. It feels like so many of these players are all out for themselves, and it is wild. It wasn't just about the hair pull. People started pulling receipts. They brought up the undercuts, the elbows, the late hits. Carrington had become a walking highlight reel of questionable plays. Not the fun kind, the dirty kind. The kind that makes fans ask, why hasn't the league stepped in yet? Criticism is justified. Get her off the court. This person, Kathy Engelbert, you're the problem. Since you seem to think this kind of play is acceptable, not just this play, but many others, you should be held accountable when someone is seriously injured, and it's going to happen. Carrington is reckless, and there's plenty of video that shows it. There's plenty of evidence. This brings us to the real issue, the WNBA's silence. In just a month, Carrington leads the league in flagrant fouls. That's not just a stat, that's a headline. And yet the league hasn't said a word. No statement, no fine, no suspension. It's like they're hoping if they pretend not to see it, it'll go away. Deja Carrington, you are the dirtiest dirtbag of them all. Dirty play. We could even turn it into a song, but we won't. Not with Caitlin Clark on the receiving end. Clark is the face of the new generation, and she's being swiped at, elbowed, and shoved around like she wandered into the wrong gym. If anything happens to Clark, because the league refuses to act, it won't just be a scandal. It'll be a full-blown crisis. The narrative is shifting. Fans aren't just mad at Carrington anymore. They're starting to question the league's integrity. Can you really promote a no room for hate campaign when you allow this kind of conduct to go unchecked? Is this the example you want to set for the next generation of young women watching? She has been on a crime spree. That's right, folks. She has been on a crime spree, robbing the WNBA blind, masquerading as a professional basketball player when in reality she is just a reckless athlete that barely understands the concept of basketball. Deja Carrington is now one of the most controversial names in the WNBA. Some fans say she plays with passion, others say she plays like she's got a vendetta. But whatever side you fall on, one thing is crystal clear. This isn't about style anymore. It's about safety. And if the league doesn't make a move soon, then the only people who will be banned are the fans choosing not to watch. She grabbed onto something, realized it was the hair, and yanked. She yanked. She went back down faster as soon as she grabbed the hair. Like, come on, at what stage does the WNBA have to step in? Because the WNBA rescinding technical fouls on a player who should already be suspended. Deja Carrington has committed 4 blatant, flagrant fouls this year, and one that was 50-50 that got rescinded.